Before we start, I would like to apologize for the latter half of this video. Some of the audio later on became erroneously silent, and I had to re-record a significant portion of it, and for that I apologize. Now, welcome back to my small part of the universe. My name is Hailstone, and today we are covering one of the more vexing mysteries of Europa. Why has our pale blue dot, our Earth, gone silent? So please, sit back, relax, and let us ponder. Earth. Can't say I even remember what it was like. We've been here for so long. The topside outposts and stations fell into disrepair as soon as the shuttles stopped coming, and anyone that was up there has been living down here since. Heck, no one can even go back up there now, last I had heard. The tunnels had been ruptured, cutting off access to the surface. Though, that is only a rumor. But to say one thing, for certain people either don't care that we're cut off from Earth, or something has happened back there that we can't figure out what. First, let's establish a baseline on why it's so weird we haven't heard from Earth in over 50 years. In order for us to receive a signal to and from Earth, it would only take about 40 minutes either way, so for the easiest form of communication to go completely silent is more than odd. This small moon we inhabit orbits Jupiter around every 3 days, so it's impossible to say that we are merely just out of range or the gas giant is blocking comms from Earth. Even if they have simply lost interest in this colony and stopped sending shuttles, I highly doubt Earth would ever willingly shut up, for the lack of a better word. Now, with that being said, there are a number of ways with very good reasons on why our pale blue dot has gone silent. The Jovian radiation and Jupiter has become too loud. Perhaps what I would consider to be the most likely case is that some unseen pair of events in the Jovian system has in tandem made it too dangerous for signals to go through or shuttles to get too close. Jupiter's intense radiation stems from a complex interaction between Jupiter's magnetic fields and Io's orbit, and perhaps some change in this dynamic has made the Jovian radiation much worse, such as perhaps Io undergoing a period of prolonged active eruptions, spreading massive amounts of radon into the Jovian system and intensifying the already prolific radiation, and either this or some other event has made the surrounding radiation far too much even for our most incredible radiation shielding. In addition to the increased radiation, this also may be accompanied by Jupiter becoming far too loud to hear any radio signals coming from Earth now. I remember many missions in the past having to account for this, and the signals we used back then were higher up, so to say, than the constant radio emitted by Jupiter, which allowed for communications between Earth and the outposts on the surface. But if Jupiter or the Jovian system as a whole has become too loud and busy, the surface of Europa and space of said system too dangerous for life, then it would perfectly encompass why no shuttles have come and we haven't heard from our homeworld. Earth is no longer there. To be honest, we are far safer under the thick ice shell of Europa than we ever were on Earth. Even with the aggressive wildlife and husks, there is very little here that could wipe us all out in an instant, unlike that of Earth, which could be ended in a myriad of ways. For example, a rogue gamma wave burst, stripping away the ozone layer, to asteroids or comets varying in size, slamming into it, or a large coronal ejection from the sun, frying all electronics on Earth, effectively ending civilization in that vein. In the case of a gamma ray burst, I am unsure how Earth would respond, though I can only placate that they would quickly start building either special structures underground or with special shielding, or mayhaps they start shipping people off-world. Though, in either of these situations, mass chaos and unrest would ensue, leading to a massive loss of not only infrastructure but human life, ultimately leading simply to non-interest in Europa existing. Though this does come to the issue of why wouldn't we see any refugees from Earth looking for shelter? If they were on their way, they may have simply starved or perished from a tragic accident. And to be honest, I'm not well versed in what was modern shuttle capacity and survivability. As a result of this, I would think that humanity outside Europa would now be nothing more than scattered colonies or groups barely scraping by to survive into their untimely fates. A mass coronal injection would resemble the response to a gamma ray burst in some ways. Though instead of ending any life on Earth, a mass coronal injection would destroy most modern electronic infrastructure. that isn't properly protected, leading to not only a massive collapse of perhaps a majority of civilization on Earth, but heavily damaging, if not outright destroying, countless satellites used for communication, leading to Earth not only becoming silent, at least for a while until things settle down and recover, but one that would return its collective interest in space back to one concerning individual-based survival, which rightly would be so. There is little that needs to be said about what would happen with an impact event on Earth, as asteroids could cause a global nuclear winter to outright completely annihilating Earth and all life on it, and if said object was on a larger side, it could possibly produce enough ejecta to even lay waste to any lunar colonies. The European Coalition is lying to us. It's not entirely unfeasible that there is no cosmic external to this situation, and it could simply boil down to being greed and opportunity. The Coalition is one of the oldest groups on Europa, and one of the most totalitarian of them. Even I wouldn't risk stoking their ire, not when they control so many important routes and resources. It was started by the two largest settlements on Europa, and slowly grew to encompass much of European society through cooperation, protection, law, or other means. And it wouldn't surprise me that one of the largest of the colonies would have some direct connection to the surface outposts, and may have had some hand in sabotaging them, effectively cutting off access to the surface for the rest of us, and are either holding off Earth with some form of political rhetoric or a false warning of contagions sweeping through the colonies. If the Coalition is lying to us and has either cut off connection or simply has sole access to the comms to Earth, keeping us in the dark down here wouldn't be that hard. Simply put, we can't see. The ice shell that protects us also prevents us receiving radio signals from anywhere in the universe. This is due to the fact that we are nearly 100 miles below the surface of the ice. To colonize such a place is nearly asking for someone or some group to take control of the rest, for the sake of their own despotic reasons or some other ilk. Though there isn't a lot of evidence for this. As tight-lipped as governments and groups can be, there is someone who always grows a conscience, or gets too drunk at a local bar and lets too many secrets slip out. There are some lesser theories I hear tossed around, but I don't give too much credence to these personally. The husk has spread to Earth. I often hear this come up in crude chatter, but honestly I truly doubt it. Though I wouldn't be surprised if husk specimens got loose on Earth, though I doubt things would ever get near apocalypse level due to just how slow the husks are and how well they make themselves known during the latter stages of infection. As well, in the same vein, rumors of some form of virus or some other form of disease has somehow made its way to Earth and has perhaps wreaked havoc on civilized society. Though, given how strict Earth is regarding foreign biomatter, I highly doubt this is the cause, though it is always a possibility. At the end of the day, though, I don't think we'll ever get an answer, as only a sparse few at this point ever even wonder what happened to Earth, and aside from that, never really think about truly going back. For what it's worth, Europa is our home now, for a long 50 years. Heck, it's been so long we actually have native Europans now. Regardless, this is where we live now, and we're making the most of it. Thank you for listening to yet another one of my videos, and once more I apologize about audio in the latter half of the video. Today you will find an interesting link in the description below. I have finally constructed a preliminary Discord and will adjust things as they go along. I hope to see you there and sharing your thoughts and theories about Barotrauma. Until otherwise, stay safe and have an excellent day.